What's that, you say? Brett Veach has signed an intriguing defensive back with some physical upside? It can't be, except that it is. Except that it isn't. The Kansas City Chiefs have re-signed, technically, Darius Rush. He has had a stint with the Kansas City Chiefs before, and we are here to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs signing him once again to their practice squad. Real quick, guys, if you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. So consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more. Now, who is Darius Rush? Well, he was originally drafted in the 5th round, pick 138 of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts out of South Carolina. He did not make it very long for the Indianapolis Colts because the Chiefs signed him in August of 2023, August 30th of 2023, and kept him through September 16th, 2023. Again, a short stint for the Kansas City Chiefs. But then he went on to play for the Steelers from October 18th, 2023 through October 1st, 2024. So basically a year under the tutelage of Mike Tomlin. In that time, he actually got on the active roster for the Steelers, and he has a little bit of stat accumulation. In 2023, he played 3 games and had 39 snaps on the defense with 3 tackles. He had 1 pass breakup on 2 PBUs, or on 2 targets, and he allowed 1 completion. He allowed a QB rating when targeted of 68.7. Not bad, right? I mean, you're only looking at 39 snaps, so to have only been targeted twice on 39 snaps, decent stuff there, right? We have some reason to believe that he was able to hold his own, at least while he was on the field. He added 20 special teams snaps to that through 3 games. In 2024, he has only 2 games of experience, no defensive snaps, but he did ring up 19 special team snaps during his time with the Steelers this season. Now, here's this guy keeps getting opportunities, right? Why? Here's why. The measurables. He's 6'1" and 7/8 inches tall. Basically, he's 6'2", and he's able to move like a corner. He's 6'2", 198 pounds with a 33 3/8 inch arm length. That is massive. He also has a 4.36 40-yard dash, including a 1.51 10-yard split. Those are very good numbers. 35-inch vertical is a decent number. 10-foot 1-inch broad jump is a pretty good number. Not great, pretty good type of number. But I'm going to go back to the same thing that I said the first time the Kansas City Chiefs signed him. This is somebody that physically, not by skill, but physically stacks up favorably to L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed is 6 foot and 1/2 inches tall, making Darius Rush, about 1.5 inches taller. L'Jarius Sneed with 192 pounds. Darius Rush is 6 pounds heavier. L'Jarius Sneed, who was very good with extension, right, had a whole lot of reach, a lot of length. 33 3/8 inch arms, meaning that his arms are 2 inches shorter than Darius Rush. A 4.37 40-yard dash on L'Jarius Sneed, a 4.36 on Darius Rush. A 1.51 10-yard split is the same for both of these players. The explosion numbers are where Darius Rush gets left in the dust. A 41-inch vertical is 6 inches better than Darius Rush's, and a 10-foot 11-inch broad jump 10 inches better for L'Jarius Sneed than Darius Rush. Now, Here is a bit of a confounding thing to talk about in conjunction with this signing. The Kansas City Chiefs have on their active roster Trent McDuffie, Christian Roland Wallace, Jalen Watson, and Joshua Williams all listed at corner, though I do believe that Christian Roland Wallace is, for all intents and purposes, a safety. That's where we saw him, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, that's where we saw him in the preseason. At defensive back, listed defensive back, they have Chamari Connor and Jaden Hicks. At safety, they have Brian Cook, Najee Johnson, and Justin Reed. On the practice squad, they have Eric Scott, Keith Taylor, Nick Jones, and Darius Rush, all at the cornerback position, meaning all told, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 listed corners between the active roster and the practice squad. Now, Bret Veach loves to have defensive backs rolling around, but 8 corners, 2 defensive backs, and 3 safeties means that you have 13 players listed as defensive backs at some level on your roster. It's a lot of players, especially a lot of players when the Kansas City Chiefs are having a whole lot of turnover at a different position, a position known as wide receiver. Now, this is not to say that they should have signed a wide receiver, though I have my thoughts on that as well. But it is interesting to see that in light of all of the movement happening on the roster, by the way, Jody Fortson was promoted to the active roster heading into Saints Week, probably meaning not great things for Jared Wiley. I've been a huge proponent of Jared Wiley, but it's interesting to see the Chiefs are prioritizing this over just taking a shot at somebody at wide receiver. Now, maybe that speaks more to what they believe about Darius Rush. Maybe that speaks more to what they believe about the wide receivers that are kicking around in free agency. I'm not sure, but it is interesting to note. As far as the upside with Darius Rush is concerned, what are we looking at with this cornerback? We're looking at a guy who has been in the league for a year and a quarter now, being drafted in 2023, spending all year last year bouncing between a couple practice squads and the Steelers' regular roster. I do think he is a guy that offers upside at cornerback in the NFL. He has all of the hallmark physical traits you would want for someone to be able to do that. I think that the low side upside, if you will, sort of the floor, but the high part of the floor, is that Darius Rush could absolutely be one of these special teams aces. Just to be quite frank, he reminds me a lot of Miles Battle, the guy that we saw the Chiefs bring in as a UDFA this past offseason, and Miles Battle didn't make the team. I thought he looked okay on the field. I thought that his movement skills looked better even than they did in college, but he didn't make the cut for the Chiefs. Why bring in Darius Rush now? I don't see any pressing need. I don't think that this is something that was pressing. What I mean to say by that is I think that this was just one of those cases where the Chiefs found themselves with a roster spot. The Chiefs found themselves able to pick someone up off the streets. Bret Veach knows Darius Rush. Bret Veach likes Darius Rush. Bret Veach likes the upside presented by Darius Rush and reacquired said talent. It may be as simple as that, right? I think probably it is as simple as that. It's still interesting. Because at this point in the season, I've often talked on the channel about how Bret Veach is the guy who will stop and pick up a penny. Never willing to concede good enough as good enough. This is another one of those moves whereby Bret Veach is not conceding that good enough is good enough. I don't know about talent, right? I don't know about talent. Talent suggests actual football play. I don't know if this is a talented individual in Darius Rush. I know that this is an intriguing athlete in Darius Rush. So, yeah, an interesting move from the perspective of there's not a whole lot of explanation, I don't think, to it. But the explanation to it is that Brett Veach is going to keep going. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.